What's up, guys? Welcome back. We are coming to you from down under here in Australia. We're here for about a month visiting, having a great time. But again, we are still going to put out some content, and I'm still keeping you up with what's going on back in the United States. And something big that I've talked about the last couple episodes has just been signed into law, and that is Biden's Build Back Better bullshit. Also known as the Inflation Reduction Act, but also known as the Investment Reduction Act, or the Indefinite Recession Act, or the In Recession Act, as I like to call it. So there's something I do want to hit on, and I have one of Biden's tweets up here, and he talks about how American families, due to the tax credits that are now going to be provided to purchase EV vehicles. For those of you that don't know, tax credit is a direct subtraction from the amount of taxes that you actually owe at the end of the year. It's better than a deduction. They're going to give you a $7,500 tax credit for a purchase of a brand new EV vehicle. You're going to get a $4,500 tax credit if you purchase a used EV vehicle. Now, these vehicles are not very old. So even buying one used, unless it's just in total trash condition, it's still going to be expensive. I bring that up because I want to also kind of put it into perspective on another agenda that the current administration has been pushing, and that is the elimination of student loan debt. So why do I have this obsession with talking about economics and finance on my channel? Well, not only do I work in the industry, have degrees in it, but I think it's extremely easy to pick out the stupidity in both sides, the right and the left, when it comes to their economic agendas. You got to understand, a political agenda has different motives than an economic agenda, right? There's a time and a place for both. However, the two can't mix, because what is politically favorable is not always economically favorable, and what's economically favorable is definitely not politically favorable, especially in our current times with inflation. The cure for inflation is, it's no different than being a drug addict and getting off of a drug. All right, we're on that come down, that withdrawal, and it sucks. The problem is the government is trying to tell us, well, we can get you off of being a drug addict without the withdrawal, and that's false. And the only thing that they're going to do is pump us full of more drugs and make us more dependent. It's exactly what this is. But for those of you that don't know, the average student loan debt in the United States is $32,731. That's on a 10-year loan at 6%. That's the averages. Which means the average student loan monthly payment is $363.38 a month. If you went and you bought a brand new EV vehicle, it would cost you about $66,000. Now subtract your $7,500 tax credit, by the way, that you would get at the end of the year. You wouldn't even get it at the time that you go and buy the car, so you still have to come up with the money. You would have a estimated loan amount on that brand new EV vehicle of about $58,500. Now, the average interest rate on a 72-month car loan, brand new car loan, is 3.86%. If you can't pay your student loan debt, and they have made it like it is such an issue that people are struggling and cannot pay their student loans, which means they are at risk of default. I'm not talking about someone who's in deferment or forbearance. I'm talking about someone who is risking default, meaning they are supposed to be paying those loans, and they haven't. Therefore, it's taking a hit on their credit, and they don't have a very good credit score probably, which means they're not going to get the 3.86%, let alone even a loan to go buy a brand new car as it is. And if you can't afford $363 a month, then you can't afford a $911 monthly payment on a brand new car. That's calculated, again, if you were able to qualify for a 3.86% interest rate, which we have rising interest rate environment right now, so it'd probably be higher than that. And if your credit sucks, it's probably going to be a hell of a lot higher than that. So it's going to be more than $911. That's a $600 a month difference. If you can't afford $300, you can't afford $900. Especially on a depreciating liability. See, the government is the only people I know that can tell me as a financial advisor that I can't make recommendations that are as stupid as that without getting a fine or going to jail. But it's okay for them to say, we're going to cancel one debt that you took out that was supposed to be an investment, depending on how you used it, only so you can go and try and buy a consumer product that is a liability for even more money. So we're going to cancel this debt because you can't afford it. Oh my God, it's hurting your credit. It's going to help the economy if we cancel student loan debt because it'll free up money in people's accounts only so they can go and triple their fucking money that they have to pay every month that they don't have, and take out more debt and put them in an even worse situation. They'll be stuck in that car. It'll be losing value. You can't sell it because you still can't, the cars lose value, like the freaking Florida State Seminoles lose football games. Some of my Florida friends will like that one. But even if you go and you buy a used EV vehicle, let's say it's a $30,000 car, you get a $4,500 tax credit. Brings you down to $25,500 loan. The average interest rate, again, this is the average. This is someone who has average credit, 8.21%. That's higher than the 6% student loan debt. Your monthly payment would still be $449. This is not counting taxes. You still can't afford a $25,000 EV vehicle. I don't care what tax credits they give you. That means that this whole idea, this whole narrative that they have pitched to you about if you're in the lower class or the middle class, we're going to get you access to electric vehicles in the name of climate change. By the way, Pelosi's invested in these companies, by the way. A lot of our politicians are. Funny how that works out, right? But we're going to get you access by giving you tax credits. The tax credits, even after that, by the way, Ford increased the average cost of their electric truck, I believe, by like $8,500. So it outpaced the tax credit that they're giving. It was a wash. It didn't even matter. In fact, you're in a worse situation now. If you have student loans, don't expect someone to cancel them because you think you're going to go be able to get a loan to pay for something else. It's not going to happen. If you can't pay $360 student loan payment, you can't afford a house. You can't afford a car. And I'm not even going to get into this fallacy of the student loan stuff because most of the people aren't even paying them as it is. And there's so many income-driven plans and whatnot. That's a whole different conversation. However, I'm just saying that this narrative that is being pitched by the left, that first of all, this whole thing will reduce inflation as a joke because it's just one massive spending bill. To reduce inflation and actually reduce the deficit in the way that it's going to be beneficial would mean that the government needs to cut spending and just leave taxes the hell alone or lower tax rates to try and incentivize people to pay taxes. The other thing they've done is they have made it mandatory that businesses will have to pay 15% tax on reported income to shareholders, which means the reported profit that they're putting on, when they do their earnings to shareholders to try and get shareholders to invest, that's what they're going to pay tax on. 15%. They also have, on top of that, a 15% global minimum tax that we agreed to. And the way that this has been structured, if you go look, Tax Foundation has a great article on this. There's like 3 layers of taxes now that our American businesses will have to pay. Another way that they have disincentivized people just doing business domestically. You can't get stupider than this. So, that just wanted to kind of get into that. And yeah, we'll be back on tomorrow. Thanks.